hand. Someone hurt my mommy. Who? Me.
Welcome back, marvelous horror fans. In today's video, we'll be talking about the ending of The Ice Cream Man. Let's take a look. We all have our guilty pleasures, don't we? I've been spoiled for choice with so many big releases this year, but after enjoying classics like The Odyssey or big Marvel entries like Spider-Man Brand New Day, I didn't mind checking out a horror slasher that doesn't take itself seriously. Yes, I'm talking about the infamous Ice Cream Man by Eli Roth, which is probably the most twisted take on the Pied Piper trope. It has a typical 80s B-movie vibe, and I promise to keep my judgments aside because this is supposed to be campy and hilarious. However, even by B-movie standards, this isn't perfect, but it does offer a crazy storyline with an abundance of gore that fit right into my plans of a mindless movie night. In this video, I'll break down the movie for you and elaborate on the ending. There will be some major spoilers along the way, so you've been warned. Eli Roth is someone who has never been shy of courting controversies. I mean, if you look at his filmography, you'll realize that half his work, including movies like Cabin Fever or Hostel, involves young people being massacred, and they reflect his contempt for their privilege. Well, this is the man who once said that Greta Thunberg should be eaten by cannibals, so you can see where he's coming from. His movies are not meant for the sensitive audience, and this one follows the theme. Ice Cream Man is absurd and outrageous in more ways than you can imagine, but at least this one doesn't disregard the characters entirely as gore fodder. The movie comes with a premise that's as simple as it gets. I guess it's more based on the premise that children should be wary of strangers, especially when it's an eerie ice cream man. We're introduced to a beautiful small town called Baleen Bay, and the story opens with a softball game, where a bunch of kids and teenagers are having a good time, and an ice cream truck shows up. The truck is operated by a creepy-looking man in a paper hat, which is straight out of the 60s Ice Cream Man appearance, and Ari Millen plays the role. The children immediately gather around the truck, and they're amused by the menu items that are strangely named after creepy crawlies. The man doesn't speak a word, but he quickly becomes popular among the children. They indulge in the ice cream, and even if you've just watched the trailer of the movie, you already know what happens next. However, Jared, who's lactose intolerant, stays away from the ice cream. Also, he's the bullied kid who's apprehensive about everything, and the ice cream man doesn't give him a very good vibe. It doesn't help that while cycling back home, he's followed by the ice cream man, and he realizes that something is wrong about this person. I think out of all the forgettable acting performances in the movie, Charlie Seltzer, who plays the role of Jared, is probably the better one. He's the one who notices that all the children who consume the ice cream have entered a strange trance-like state, and they watch videos that depict the cartoon character on the ice cream van. Later that night, we see the true effect the ice cream has on everyone who had one for themselves. The children are possessed after an ice cream truck jingle from the truck driving by triggers them. This is not really like turning into a zombie because the kids are more like weaponized drones that are unleashed on the small town. It's like being hypnotized so strongly that even the harshest and strangest things they do or the damage that they inflict has no impact on them. It reminds me of the film Weapons, even though things happen very differently in the movie, and it's probably even unfair to compare such a schlock fest with a classic. What happens next is the most enjoyable part of the film, especially if you're a gore hound. The kids turn into violent little maniacs, and they murder everyone in sight or try to force-feed the ice cream to them. The next day, Jared's parents leave town while he arrives at school and meets his classmates Tommy and Mia, who also haven't eaten the ice cream and noticing the strange behavior of the other students. The school is a mess because most of the kids are in a violent trance. The ice cream truck arrives and it sends them into an uncontrollable frenzy against the teachers and other adults. It's hilarious to watch as they do some unspeakable things. They all have ice cream smeared over their faces and they find the most innovative ways to hurt the adults. I love how the kids can think straight and come up with clever plans, even though they're clearly not themselves. You can see them using proper tools to take adults down double their size, and they use everything from baseball bats to power tools and dental equipment. It can be disturbing for some to see kids indulge in such extreme violence and bloodshed, but I try to take comfort in the fact that the child artist probably had a gala time during the filming. These are the things that are strictly forbidden for any kid, and I still remember that nothing pleased me more as a child than getting a free pass to do things that I'm not supposed to do. I think some of the gory scenes truly stand out, as adults get dismembered and decapitated left and right, and you can see that the principal has it worse, as he gets his brain scooped out like ice cream. Then you have the scene where the children use intestines as a jump rope, and then there's the one where they play tag with a severed hand. You get the drift, right? It was indeed a classic 80s B-horror film, and practical effects would have been great here, but what we get is subpar CGI, and this is where it really hurts the visuals. There's a ton of AI usage as well, and this really hurts as it's the most excessive in the movie. You'll find them in so many scenes in the background, and I'm not just talking about some imagery and animation, but also the live action scenes. This is the first time that I've come across such blatant AI usage for a theatrical release, and it's pretty infuriating. Aside from this, the acting performances don't exactly steal the show, and neither does the screenplay. I spoke about how the movie can hurt sensitive viewers, and there are plenty of things that can be outright offensive. It makes fun of eating disorders, makes children do unspeakable things, and the most disturbing part is probably the sexualization of teens. The older teenager that you see in the movie is only a junior high school student, and yet she's been portrayed in a rather questionable way. Anyway, coming back to the story, Jared is not the only survivor, and there are a few others, including his friends Tommy and Mia. They both have different reasons for not having the ice cream. For instance, Mia is bulimic, and it turns out to be a blessing in disguise. As the children kill anyone in their vicinity and force-feed ice cream to the non-possessed children, Jared, Tommy, and Mia manage to barricade themselves inside the school. Jared calls his sister Lizzie for help, and this is where we see a way to bypass the effects of the ice cream. Lizzie had eaten the ice cream meant for Jared, and she's become paralyzed, but when she forces herself to vomit the ice cream, she's fine. Pretty weak logic if you ask me. She then tries to meet Jared, but murderous children attack her, and she has to call her ex-boyfriend Chris for help. She's saved by Chris, and together they drive to find Jared. Meanwhile, Jared and his friends somehow escape from the school as the entire town has now descended into absolute madness. They find shelter in the church basement, and this is where they discover a giant walk-in freezer, filled with the treats of the ice cream man. They also encounter a priest who's held up there, and we finally get some context as the priest spills the backstory of the ice cream man. It turns out, this ice cream man visited the town 2 decades ago, and was falsely implicated for hurting some local children. Jared's grandfather, who used to be an influential lawyer, convinced some local children to lie in court, and this got the ice cream man wrongly convicted. While he was in prison, he was visited by a sinister necromancer who promised revenge on the town in return for his soul. The desperate ice cream man accepted the deal, and now it seems like he's returned with vengeance to tear the town apart. I know this gives off strong Freddy Krueger vibes, but let's not even compare the two because the ice cream man is really no match. However, even amid such doom and despair, the priest has some words of hope for the children. He tells them that they must kill the necromancer and the siren accompanying him in his unmarked grave so that the ice cream man can be stopped forever. But by now, the ice cream man has already arrived, which sets into motion the dramatic ending. The priest sacrifices himself in order to save the kids, and Jared, Tommy, and Mia reunite with Lizzie and Chris, and Jared convinces them all to head to the cemetery in order to find the necromancer's grave. Of course, this is not an easy journey because they're confronted by the ice cream man and the violent group of children. But Chris finds a way to distract them as the others look for a particular grave. But it doesn't really end well for the group because Chris is eventually killed and Mia and Tommy are force-fed the ice cream, which turns them into mindless, possessed individuals just like the others. Jared and Lizzie panic and they're manipulated into killing their own parents without seeing them first. It doesn't get any worse, does it? Also, did you ever wonder how the priest knew so much about the story of the ice cream man? Well, it turns out that the priest is actually the necromancer, and this is the big climactic twist as it's revealed that the children were being manipulated from the beginning. He's the one who cast an illusion spell on them to finish the job for the ice cream man, because obviously Jared's family is the one directly involved in how he was wronged back in the day. Now that the revenge is complete, the ice cream man heads to the next town with all the maniacal children following him in typical Pied Piper fashion. And I'm sure that Eli Roth wanted to leave this on a slight cliffhanger with the hopes of continuing the franchise. Nowadays, post-credit scenes have become a huge thing, haven't they? Even Ice Cream Man has one, and maybe Roth has plans for a sequel as well, even though the plan will have to wait, given how this has been battered by the critics. The end credit scene is a quick glimpse of the headless man on a Segway as he rides across the bridge and out of town. This is another indication that aside from the ice cream man and the possessed children, there will be an entire army of dark forces that haunt the next town out there. After watching the movie, I am not too sure if we even need a sequel in the first place. Overall, the movie fails to live up to the expectations because I've seen some fantastic movies about killer children, and this one just doesn't cut it. Yeah, you can watch it casually as a guilty pleasure, but with poor production values and a shaky final act, it just feels too generic and silly. I would say this is a missed opportunity because the concept really permitted some crazy storytelling, and the director has fallen short on that. You'll get to witness plenty of violence though, and it's the morbid kind where decapitations are common and people are pummeled with bricks and bats. Some people get their heads crushed and bashed into bloody bits of mush, and this is definitely not meant for the squeamish. Oh, and I hope that we won't have to see so much AI ever again in a mainstream feature film. I can't recommend this film if you're a true horror fan because I know you'll be disappointed. Watch it only if you want the cheap thrills and want to rest your brain for a while as you indulge in the madness. Let me know in the comments what you think about the movie, and also share your thoughts on how this movie could be even better. If you appreciate the efforts to bring you this content, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more such videos.